Welcome to Under the Pumba Podcast, the podcast about all things related to the EA Maxis series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made up ones. Each episode will focus on one of several rotating themes, including building, gameplay, lore, and more. Today is, I guess, lore? Maybe.
I guess a combo of lore and gameplay, you could say.
Yeah. And this is Jen, and I have.
Hi, it's Ava.
And we're here to party today and talk about witches. And I guess spellcasters because I guess witches aren't technically a thing in Sims 1 and Sims 4.
Well, y- I don't know why they went with the whole spellcaster thing. Maybe to make it like more gender neutral, because check in pop culture, witches are considered women, and then if you have a man, it's a wizard or a warlock. But that's not true. Those are completely different schools of magic. Like a guy can be a witch, a woman can be a warlock or a wizard. It depends on the kind of magic that you do. Somebody pick up a D&D handbook, please, and just educate yourselves, EA. But I don't know. I guess that's why they did it. But they started out as witches, so I don't know why they made that change. But it's spellcasters now.
It's so like here we go again with my not knowing anything. I know the basics of Harry Potter, but I don't know like the main thing. So like there's witches and then there's like wizards. But like witches are not like you said like it's a gender neutral thing.
Yes, witches, like both men and women can be witches. It's just because they practice witchcraft, and like even if you want to go the J.K. Rowling way, and whatever that woman considers lore anymore, it says the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and she was right in that witchcraft and wizardry are considered two different branches of magic.
Yeah, okay, that's true. They do call it. They use the wizard part too.
Yeah, and like wizardry is then again divided into different schools of magic like conjuration, abjuration, etc., etc. But we're not really here to talk about the technicalities of what witchcraft is, but if you want to like really follow that setting of there are different branches of magic, you just go on D&D Beyond and like read up on the different magic classes, because you have wizardry, so you can be a wizard, you can be a sorcerer, then there's like the druids are a whole different thing of like magic, so you can be a woman and be a wizard, and you can be a man and be a witch. Like it has nothing to do with gender. These aren't gender terms. So I don't know why they went like the spellcaster route, but I don't know.
Do we know why EA does anything that
No,
they do?
no, we don't. You could have just kept them all witches. Like there's a male witch, there's a female witch, there's a non-binary witch. It's a gender neutral term. But I guess because of like, witches in like even in like the ye olden times during the witch trials, like guys were mostly women, because they were women, but some guys were prosecuted for witchcraft and like executed for witchcraft as well.
I didn't actually know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think one of them was Giles Corey during the Salem witch trials. Like he got smooshed to death and he wouldn't confess. Yeah, like they put like a plate on his chest and like put stones on it, and they kept trying to get him to confess, like say, admit you're a witch. No, okay, more weight, and they kept piling on the rocks until like eventually he got smooshed. I
What?
think I think his last words were like more weight or something, because he just refused to confess that he was a witch. But he was also accused of witchcraft. Like men can be witches too, and women can be wizards. And if you're non-binary, you can be whatever the hell you want to be. So there.
That's
But I
crazy. I
guess if I wanted to take like a running leap and take a guess, I'm gonna say maybe the whole like fairy tale effect of it, like the witches there were, these ugly old crones. There was I think a German artist who always depicted witches as like these ugly old women with warts on their face, and that's like where the classic view of witches came from. If you listen to podcasts, Bailey Sarian actually did a an episode about that recently on what was it, Dark
Dark history,
History?
yeah.
Yeah, so she, I think, not the most recent one, no, yeah, the most recent one, episode 57, The Witches Are Coming, Hide Your Broom, Hide Your Goats. She talks about how like the image of the witch that we have, like the ugly old woman with the long nose and everything, came to be. And yes, mostly women were persecuted as witches, but some men as well. So, you want to be a witch regardless of what is in your pants, I guess. I don't know how that works.
Regardless of what EA wants you to call yourself, because
Yep.
EA can't even make up
Yep.
their mind what they want you to call yourself.
I don't I mean, it's very very progressive of them to like give us all these options of like, pronouns and everything. I'm very happy about that. Way to go. Keep it going. However, not everything needs to be gender neutralized, even if like mostly because it was already gender neutral to begin with. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just the pop culture view of like, the Disney witch, if you will, that witches are like, even if you look at Sword in the Stone, Merlin's a wizard and Madame Mim's a witch and witches are evil, blah blah blah, wizards are good, nah, nah, nah. It's, yeah, it's kind of a view that's ingrained. So maybe they were worried that if they called them witches, some people were going to be, witches are we mean. I don't know how things work anymore. I'm also on a shit ton of antibiotics, and my brain is like on some notes. So
That's okay. I just, for whatever reason, I guess that I'm too old to go out and enjoy life because now, like, I'm just like, I woke up at 10 o'clock and I'm like, ugh, I'm so tired. Why am I tired?
I mean, I am tired all the time. That is my default setting. I get it. It's
Yeah.
just at some point in your life, and I don't think it has anything to do with like your physical age. It's more like a mental thing where you're all of a sudden you're in this place in your life where you have all these responsibilities and you have to be like a functioning member of society, and it's just so emotionally and mentally draining that that's what makes you tired all the time.
Yes. Yes.
So, some of us are just trying to keep our shit together, and that's a lot of spoons. We don't have, and some people, we all have things on our plates, but it's not the amount of stuff you have on your plate, it's the size of your plate. Some people's plates are smaller than others. Some people deal with things like I deal with stress by burying myself in a blanket burrito and just listening to murder podcasts. That is how I deal with stress. Some people go for a run. I admire those people. Would I do it myself? Fuck no. I don't see the point in running without something chasing you, but you do you. That's the most, as long as you don't hurt anybody with what you do, you fucking do you, man. You deal with life how you can deal. What is possible for you.
Here's what I do. I'm gonna segue into this, Jess. Get ready.
Yeah.
I play The Sims.
Hey, we go. Yeah, we got off on a bit of a very long tangent there. I get philosophical when I'm sick.
I feel you. I play The Sims, unfortunately, for too many hours.
I'm afraid to look at my Origin account at this point, and that's just for Sims 4. Because I've
Oh.
been playing since Sims 1, so I have so many things to tell you about Sims 1 witches.
So I never got to play this. Well, so I remember my best friend had this, and like he wouldn't let me play it, but I watched him play
How is
it.
that a best friend if he didn't let you play?
He was he's a different person now is all I can say.
Yeah, my god,
He
rude.
was like You just watch me play and watch what I do. And, like, I
No.
remember the book, and that's all I remember, and apparently there's so much more than having a book.
See, when I played it with my best friend, when I played any games with my best friend, I would like hand her the controller and she'd be like, "No, no, 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 I want to watch." Like, "Oh, okay." So we
Aw.
would play Tomb Raider together and she would read the walkthroughs and tell me where to go. Or we'd play Spyro together and she would tell me if I like missed a gem somewhere. She'd be like, "Gem over there, gem over there." And we actually 100% completed all of Spyro 3 together because she was helping me out.
Aw.
Yeah, so that was super fun. But yeah, no, if I wasn't playing Tomb Raider, I played Sims 1 back in those days, and that was you so yeah, the book was an important thing because that's how you cast like half of your spells. So you had the book. Well, no, the book was actually the main thing. That's how you cast your spells and made your charms. But you had like the wand to cast spells and the charm maker to make charms. And it, like whenever you started a new game and you added the like the magic part of it, there would be a man in a pink coat that would come to your door and he would leave a box there. And he would it would be a box with a wand and some basic ingredients, some magic coins, and not the book, but it was like a computer thing. Like you had like classical versions of the spellcasting tools and like more modern versions. So you had the classic like leather bound tome, and you had like this touchscreen computer thing that was supposed to be a spell book, which was hilarious. So yeah, so you got I think you got the basic ingredients to make like one spell, which was the totification charm, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Don't tell me if I'm wrong. I don't like it when people tell me when I'm wrong.
Never tell us when we're wrong.
Yeah.
Let us be wrong.
No. But you also got a hole in the ground, and the hole in the ground was kind of like one of those Acme like rabbit hole things with like a neon arrow pointing down towards it, and that's how you got to Magic Town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was super fun. You just like cannonball into the hole and you'd come out into Magic Town. But first you get like the loading screen with like the amazing music. The music in Making Magic was my absolute favorite Sims music of all time. I will fight you on that. But yeah, that's how you became, I guess, a spellcaster. You were never called a witch or a wizard or a warlock or whatever. You could just cast spells and go to Magic Town. Even if you didn't use magic, you could still go to Magic Town because it had like carnival rides and everything, and you could go see a magic show or whatever. So you didn't have to be like involved in the spellcasting aspect of it if you wanted to go to Magic Town, which was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it wasn't until The Sims 2 where it became an actual separate life state. Life states didn't actually become a thing until Sims 2. So what you did have was the charm, the beauty or the beast, like the beauty or beast charm. And there was like a witch warlock costume that you could wear. I think we discussed that on the werewolves episode as well. It just altered your look for a little while. It was timed, like it would wear off. And of course, if it backfired, you'd be stuck with the head of a donkey. But yeah, that was basically the only thing you could do, or, change your clothes to look a little more witchy, like, I don't know, download some skins or something. But you weren't actually anything else, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to look these up because I never, like I said, I didn't get to play, and I don't think we ever got that far.
Oh, that was like the best expansion. I'm so sad you missed out on that.
Sims 2 witches were, like, my introduction because, like, Apartment was my favorite hack ever, and, like, I loved the costumes, like, I'm a sucker for medieval costumes, and, like, I remember I was making all of my Sims witches most of the time because they're so like, I love the costumes, like, I was just watching a video by Red Plum Bob, I think is what who it was, and they were showing, like, what the different ones could do in, like, Sims 2, 3, and 4, and, like, a lot of that stuff I forgot. So, like, The Sims 2, it has neutral, evil or like good.
Those ones always give me a massive like Wizard of Oz vibe because the good was like all like white and light blue tones, and the evil witch was like she had a green face and like black robes and everything. So I always got like Glinda, the good witch, versus
Yes.
the wicked witch. Kind of, yeah. It just got massive Wizard of Oz vibes from that one. But I like the fact that you could be neutral.
My brain, like, people don't have captions, so, like, my brain hears the wildest things,
Oh no.
and I thought you said Wizard of Boggs, and I was like, "What's this? I don't know all these
No,
cool references."
Wizard of Oz. I have bronchitis, so yeah, my maybe my pronunciation isn't the greatest at the moment.
Is my brain will just hear the most off the wall things, and, like, I'll look at people, and I'm like, "That's not what I heard you say," and then they're like, "Well, that's not what I said," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, you don't come with captions." I have auditory processing disorder, so, like, I just, like, stare at people sometimes when they say things, and then I'm like, "Huh? What'd you say?"
I feel that, but for me, it's just because I'm dumb sometimes. Like sometimes my brain just goes like, I don't want a brain today. So you figure it out, and I'm like, thanks. Okay, cool.
I'm done for today.
It's not because like it's not because I'm dumb. It's because I have undiagnosed ADD, and sometimes I will just be in a conversation and I will completely zone out and just go like, huh? I have no idea what you just said. My concentration comes and goes. Like it's why I always have to keep busy when I'm doing I can't just sit there and watch a movie. I have to crochet and watch a movie.
Yes.
I can't just sit and listen to a podcast. I have to knit and listen to a podcast.
Yes.
That's why video games are so good for me cuz it keeps me stimulated visually, orally, well auditory, and it keeps my hands busy. So I have my mental stimulation, I have my motor stimulation, and that's why I'm good with video games.
See, me and my partner have the autism also, so it's like we have video games, but we also have to have something in the background. So, like, I'll go in there and he's streaming and he'll have, like, his game up, and then he'll have his YouTube video up, but he has his YouTube in his ear because he's streaming with the sound going, and then he's got music going while he's streaming, and I'm like, "That's overload for me." However, I will sit there and, like, at the end of the night to wind down, I'll go in there and watch something on the TV, and I'll play my game at The Sims at the same time,
Yeah, I do the same.
because The Sims, well, I don't think The Sims is very, like, stimulating enough that you can't just.
I mean, if you do a challenge or something, like you have to be focused, sure, but it's the perfect kind of thing to sort of like wind down and not pay attention, and you can have your attention divided when it comes to The Sims.
Yes.
I recently actually made a little challenge for myself that was witch related in The Sims 4. I made myself a little forest witch, living in a cabin in the woods, off the grid, and I was going to try and have her live solely off of herbalism.
Oh, how'd that work?
Not great. Not
Oh,
great.
no.
Turns out you cannot earn money to live off of with just herbalism. Because you would have to like buy one of those street seller tables and then go out to a public lot and sell your potions. But you would also have to go camping to collect the necessary ingredients for said potions because the bugs and stuff can only be found there. Like you could get the plants and then plant those at home, but if you want the bugs, you gotta go camping, and camping ain't cheap. So basically, all of my profits that I made from making those herbalism things and selling them, I wouldn't even have enough to, get a camping trip for a few days to gather more ingredients. So yeah, it wasn't doable. Absolutely not doable. Would not recommend. 0 out of 10.
So was that the point? Because like, when I do the camping thing, I don't ever go to that. I don't have my Sims go to the campgrounds because I don't see a point to it, I guess.
Well, if you go camping and you go to the that specific world to go camping, you can either have a cottage or you can sleep in a tent. But if you walk around there, you'll be able to collect bugs and like poisonous plants or like other plants, and those, and I think some frogs as well that you only find there, and those are to make these herbalism things. But because most ingredients are so difficult or just such a hassle to collect, I've never done anything with it. Because you always have to go camping in order to collect those ingredients, and I figured I'd give it a shot, so I made this challenge for myself, like I'm gonna be a little forest witch. I'm gonna focus on herbalism, and it's not sustainable at all. Would not recommend.
Good to know.
See, I wanted to get rich off of selling wedding cakes, but that wedding pack is still so broken. I can't do it, and I'm still bitter about it. So I'm gonna keep bitching about it until it's fixed. You know what it is? I think I know what it is. It's witchcraft. There.
It is. And you know what? Do you know when witchcraft actually started to be a life state? Sims 2.
Yeah.
You can become a witch by I mean, you can literally go into create a sim. I think that's what it showed in that video.
No.
No. So
No.
you had to actually get turned in this one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
in Sims 2 you could not make alternate life states in Create a Sim.
Okay.
That was not possible until Sims 3. So if you wanted to be a vampire, werewolf, witch, you had to get turned.
Okay. So then
Had to
like
get turned. Am I right? Oh god, just fucking meds. I'm sorry.
they're doing it.
Just ignore me.
You're getting turned by their cauldrons.
Yeah, well, it did involve like brewing something, I think. I'm not sure. Oh no, that was the potion to cure it.
Yes, so it's you must be turned by one. This can be done by befriending a high witch who at times shows up at a community lot and asking to be taught either the way of light or darkness or directing a playable witch with enough magic to catch Magus Mutatio. I'm sorry, I'm
Yep, nope, that is correct.
on the target sim. Once done, the sim will either be a good or evil witch or neutral, depending on the type of witch you turn them, and will have an extended name, including their alignment title. So, like Goneril Cap, the evil witch. They will also receive witch attire, a robe and a hat, and the required kit. They'll get a cauldron and a spell book. And then their colors will be determined by the witch they were turned by.
Yep.
And, like, the dark, like Ava said before, the dark witch looks like is her name Elphaba? What's the green lady, the bad witch's name? I thought it was Elphaba, and that's what that one's name.
From Wicked. Yeah, Alphaba. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a what do you call that? A theater nerd. Like, I was in theater in school, but I like
Yeah, but that's in Sims 4. There's one of the spellcasters, like the high skill spellcasters. There is called L, as in the letter L, and then Faba. And she's a play on Elphaba from Wicked, who became essentially the Wicked Witch of the West.
yeah, and, like, we'll talk about it a little bit, but she's, like, bad she's evil, I think, is one of her traits.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I don't think you could have like an evil. Did it like The Sims 2 didn't have traits yet? They still worked with the Sims 1 system where they had like a sliding scale with like 10 dashes, and you have like certain points that you could allocate. You had like neat and sloppy, and you could have like 5 points or 6 points in neat, or you could have like 2 points and then you would be more like sloppy. I don't I think there was like grumpy or something else. I don't think there was like a good or evil per se. But the black witches were supposed to be considered
Evil.
evil. You had like infallibly good to atrociously evil, and the spells were also divided into categories of good, neutral, and evil. The more evil spells you cast, the more evil your witch becomes, like your alignment becomes, and I think also the more evil spells you can cast, but the more good you would cast, the more good you would become, and if you cast both equally, it would be like you'd be neutral.
And then, like, the neutral, they had, like, earthy tones, it looked
Yeah,
like.
brown, just like brown and grays, which I personally preferred.
Yes.
over the other ones. I really like the neutral ones.
And then, like, your good witches were giving me, like, Elsa vibes, but Elsa didn't exist at the time. Like, it was, like, blue and white.
Yeah, I think she was based on Glinda from Wizard of Oz, like Glinda the Good Witch, like whites and blues and like this ethereal vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was her.
And you probably could have downloaded a large pink Glinda dress back then, but she wouldn't have wore it all the time. But it would have been cute.
Yeah, I suppose you could. I'm pretty sure there is custom content out there to like really make them Wizard of Oz
Oh, yeah.
style, probably.
I was obsessed with custom content in The Sims 2, and, like, I literally had, like, the skins were a lot different if y'all don't know. The skins were, like, you could literally just download someone's whole skin. Like, I had Billy Joe from Green Day, and he has hella tattoos and eyeliner, so, like,
Yeah, the custom skins, they would be like under skin tone or makeup that you would then have. That's there wasn't really a way to have like preset sims back then. You would have to download
yeah.
said sim and like their a whole appearance would be like their skin tone.
Yeah.
So, which was interesting if you like worked with genetics because if they made that certain skin tone on like the darkest skin tone, but your sim would be like very light looking, but for some reason they like underlaid the darkest skin tone. If you had a baby with that sim, they would have that darkest skin tone. So you could have like two white looking parents and then this black child and then go like what the fuck happened here, you know? But it would be that skin tone. And like I think I had that once with a sim that used the not white skin tone, but it looked like the skin itself looked white. And then they were like two white sims and they had like a darker skinned baby. And I was like, how the fuck? And then I figured it out. I was like, oh, it's because this skin tone, even though it looks white, is categorized into like, I think it was like the second or third darkest tone. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's right. Because it was always there was 4 skin tones, it was like or 3.
Yeah, I think three.
It was like white, tan, and black, which was unfortunately the preset setting in every game back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, if you were Asian, you were shit out of luck. You look for like custom content skin tones, which there were a lot of, because fortunately we've always had like a lot of modders who saw what was lacking and were like, it's okay, fam, we got you.
Shout
So
out to the modders.
yeah.
My favorite people in the entire world.
Like it always pissed me off that in every single game, like I know this is like not something I have the right to bitch about, like very first world problems, but they never had like proper blonde hair. It always looked like Lego brick yellow, and that always pissed me off because I have like I'm strawberry blonde, so I'm not blonde blonde, but I'm also not a redhead. And I never got like my color hair in there. But fortunately, thanks to modders, I did find a lot of hairstyles that had like kind of like my hair color in there, which was fun. But yeah, maybe start making proper blonde hair, please.
And I feel like they don't have that now even, like, they don't
No, they
have
don't. It's like it's either Lego brick yellow or like this dirty, I don't know, like dirty pea color, or just really like white blonde. It's like eggshell. Like this is not a hair color. Like how why?
poor Nina? I don't know the 2. The
Yeah,
blonde one,
the calientes. Yeah.
walking around town with her macaroni and cheese
Yeah,
hair.
macaroni and cheese, exactly. You look like you were wearing a bowl of Kraft on your hair. Like, why? Why, EA? This is the same thing that I had complaints about in Dragon Age, and this is also Electronic Arts. I'm looking at you, you know? Friggin'
Oh,
BioWare. You made some great games, but when I was in Dragon Age Inquisition, I was like, everything looks so fucking good. I'm sure they'll have decent blonde hair. No. No, absolutely not. Piss yellow, that's what it was. So no, I'm not. Like, give me a game with proper blonde hair, and we
yeah.
can talk. Fucking Dreamlight Valley has my color hair. Disney's Dreamlight Valley. So that was like pleasantly surprised.
I'm gonna go back into spells and regents. I don't know what a regent is.
Oh, a reagent is it's an ingredient. It's what you use
Oh.
to cast spells. It's like, I don't know, Eye of Newt and Dragon Scale or whatever.
Oh. Why is it called a reagent versus an ingredient?
I think it's called a reagent because it's supposed to like conjure a reaction.
Oh.
Like English etymology isn't my strong suit, but I think reagents and stuff were used in maybe alchemical terms and stuff, and reagent, reaction, I don't know, it just makes sense. I could be completely wrong,
That makes sense.
but I think that's why it's called a reagent.
But you do your spells. You learn a spell from each level of magic. Each spell requires a certain level of magic or a specific number of reagents to be used. These can be obtained by purchasing them from the NPC witches or crafted in a cauldron. Unlike in Making Magic, Sims aren't required to prepare spells before casting and instead just require the right combination of reagents on the spot. Witches with higher magic will have a higher success, obviously.
Yeah, that's still the same. The better you are at something, the more likely you are to succeed.
Yeah, like apply real world logic to The Sims sometimes, not all the time.
You can still fuck up though. Take it from someone who had to frog like half a hat because she fucked up and it was like 3 sizes too big. Um,
Oh
I could literally fit my entire head, like my entire face in it.
no.
Not
Oh no.
great.
So we got a ski mask instead of a hat.
Yeah,
Um, you have your spells organized into categories. You got your good, neutral, evil. And so your Sim's gonna study their good, evil, neutral, depending what they are. An infallibly good witch can cast like an Expello Mortis and also craft the Throne of Light, but an atrociously evil witch could do Vivictus Zombie and craft the Throne of Darkness. The two thrones do exactly the same thing, but if a non magical sim sits in the chair, no mood effects will occur. But if a witch sits in the opposite chair, the witch's motives go down rapidly. Neutral witches benefit from both of those. And like Ava said, reagents are just things that you use for your spells, and you can buy them or you can.
you could craft.
Oh, you could craft them.
Yeah, you can. Some of them you could craft, but I don't think you could actually grow them, depending on. But there was. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. There was Calder. There were dragon scales. There was some kind of dust, like mystic dust. There was crystallized moonbeams. I remember that. Something something viper essence. Then there was like Eye of Newt. That was a I remember that one because it said like that it was taken from a baby newt, and I remember that being very specific. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing with these baby newts? Leave the baby newts alone." But these reagents were also considered like neutral, good, or evil. Yeah, so you had to. I think you could only get them from the witches, like from the high witches, but you could use them to cast your spells, but also to like craft certain items like the thrones, but you could also make like lamps and sculptures and stuff. Yeah, I was always a little bit disappointed in that specific area cuz I just felt like there wasn't enough in that area. Like I get it, witches weren't the main focus of the pack. It was still supposed to be about apartments, but we only had like a handful of items that you could craft, and I don't think spell wise there was that much to do either.
So it's what I'm getting from this, and we get our stuff off of Sims Wiki. It's like basically you've got your alignments, they kind of just do their spells, and like you can make your stuff. And I mean, there's familiars, like you can do cat familiars. I think in like from what I remember from that video, this you can choose a different familiar type in Sims 3 and then in Sims 4 you can.
No, Sims 3 didn't. Like Sims 3 had a familiar. If you had a dog or a cat or like a bird or something, you could like turn them into your familiar and you'd get like a boost
Yeah, yeah.
if they were near, but I don't think Sims 2 had familiars.
It says, you can have a cat, but that's it.
Oh yeah,
You
just a
can't
cat.
have, like, in the video I watched, they had, like, a snake even. Like, you can
Yeah,
have
in
a
Sims
snake.
3, you basically, if you had a pet that you could like, because the snakes as well, I think you could carry around in your pocket. If you had a pet that you could have on you, you could turn them into a familiar. The same with like my witch always had a crow.
I
Like
love that.
I'd go and look for a crow or a raven, and you could like they could ride around on your shoulder.
It showed, like, in the video that the one had a raven. It could have been a crow, I don't know the difference, but it said, "You can have your familiar regardless of relationship level," and then it, like, shows the crow peck at the witch.
Yeah, that is correct. But if you like chose a certain animal to be your familiar, once they were near you, you would get like a boost, as in my familiar is near.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of like, I think the big Sims 2 was like a good gateway into witches. Basically, it was a good start, but like I said, it wasn't supposed to be the main focus of a pack. This was apartments, and why they thought like, oh, you will give them apartments and here we'll throw some witches in it, I don't know. Maybe that was just because, nightlife, the big draw was nightlife, but they gave you vampires with it. Pets, the big draw was pets, but they gave you werewolves with it. And I don't know, for some reason apartments means witches. um but it was good. It was good practice for what was to come, and that was for me one of the best things ever done in The Sims 3, which is in The Sims 3 Supernatural.
Yes, that pack was I loved it.
So
I didn't like
good.
the werewolves because I'm not a werewolf person.
Oh, I'm definitely not a werewolf person, but I like them. That was actually the only time that I played with werewolves, because they were super. Because I always played like a witch and made potions, and then it was super handy to have a werewolf because they could go out and collect reagents for you.
Oh, I didn't know about all that.
Yeah, that was super handy. They could just like, you could send them to get specific reagents, or to just have them like roam around and collect random things. They could come back with bugs, with metals, with gems, with like anything you needed. And they'd be gone. They'd roam around. They'd do their own thing. You'd queue up a few clicks, and they would be gone for the entire night. They'd come back, and you'd have like a shit ton of ingredients. It was great.
That kinda makes me wanna play again.
I would recommend it. It's great. Focus on alchemy. It's super fun. When I played the Rags to Riches, I always made my sim get into alchemy, because you could go to Alistair's elixirs and sundries, and they'd have an alchemy station there, and you could find shit around the neighborhood, like seeds and fruits and whatever, and just go there and brew up potions and then sell them at the consignment store. That was actually a really good way to get some money.
I remember the store, but when you said that, now I remember you could go around and that's where you get your seeds and stuff, and your ingredients were just laying, and I always thought it was a bug, but it was, like, probably there for a reason.
Yeah, it also had, if I'm not mistaken, it had beehives, so you could get honey from there. And even if you just didn't, if you needed some quick cash, you could go get some honey and then sell it from your inventory.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I like never did challenges, but I did rags to riches in The Sims, and I was fucking good at it.
Well, because it was easier to sell things than it is now.
That too. Well, there's a lot of stuff just lying around. Like there's a diamond just right there in the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I don't like how you have to hunt for things now because, like, you gotta, like, scroll in really you gotta scroll in a lot to look at, "Oh, is this a rock, or is this actually something where I can pick at it and get a stone out of it?"
You know what pisses me off when it comes to like finding rocks and crystals in The Sims 4?
What's that?
Like, I will have 10 rocks lined up, and 8 out of those 10, no, I'm overreacting, 6 out of those 10 are gonna be fucking treasure maps.
Oh my god, I hate
And those goddamn treasure maps are going to give you the goddamn time capsule with the stupid Sim statue that's like Simish. I don't even know what the fuck they are. The little statues.
they're the Sims, mm,
I don't even
My
remember.
Sims.
My
My Sims
Sims, that was
statues.
it. And I'm just like, I don't. Who even played My Sims? I don't even. But yeah, anyway, that's why I preferred the like spell casting and stuff and magic and alchemy in The Sims 3 because it was so much easier to get reagents. There were so many more different spells and reagents that you could use, and there were easier ways to come across them. Like there was also like one thing I always like spent my aspiration points on was that thing like an item that would let you find things on the map. Can't remember what it's called, but I think it was like 40,000. But it could be like, it would locate collectibles.
It's made them sparkle, didn't it?
Yeah, you could go into the map view and it would be like, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. And then when you zoomed in, they would sparkle. So they would be easier to find.
Yeah, I loved that thing.
That was super handy. Like if I needed a specific gem, I could go into map view and immediately see at a glance if it was in the world, like if it spawned or not. Like if I needed one of those rainbow gems, I go into map view, it's like, oh, there's one. Go get it. So convenient. Same with bugs. If I needed a specific bug, there's one. Go get it. You went to Egypt specifically for a bug that you needed. Just go like, whoop, turn it on, look at the map. Oh, there's one. Go get it.
Yep. Now you gotta just be like, this might be
Just
a rock.
wander around the woods and hope you find something.
Yeah. That's why I don't like that camping pack because like you gotta like there's all the trees, so like their overlay is like
It gives me a headache trying
yeah.
to find something because I literally have to like sit like this on my screen and go like, is that a
What's this?
is that plant part of the surroundings or can I harvest it? What is that? Is that bug decorational or can I collect it? I don't know. It's annoying.
I'm gonna go through trivia real quick from Sims 2, and then we will fully move on to Sims 3 because
Yes.
that's the best one. So witches can be combined with other life states, so you could have like a witch zombie. You could have your ebony raven.
No.
Uh,
No.
you,
Absolutely not.
you could have a witch vampire.
No. No, no, no. No.
Teens, regardless of aspiration, do not get any wants or fears that are witch related. The want trees pertaining to becoming witches or being cured of it do not include teenage life stage. This makes it possible to turn non knowledge Sims into witches and possibly accept this life state even into adulthood. And although witches and good witches and evil witches have a rivalry, it is possible for them to become friends. Good and evil witches can summon spectral assistants, and evil witches' assistants will fight a specified person, and a good witch's assistant will clean up around the house. But neutral witches don't have this ability. So, your evil witch, she can't clean her house, but she can curse a person, apparently.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, I would become a good witch just because I hate cleaning.
Yeah, to be fair, so would I.
Good witch's spectral assistant will sometimes drink tap water when left with nothing else to clean or repair. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Didn't Bonehilda do that too? Like if she didn't have anything to clean, she'd go like straight to the bar.
I feel that. Drinking too much water will generate a puddle, so they pee themselves. Gross. Witches can visit any secret lot regardless of their alignment. There's no restriction for a witch from one alignment to go to the other alignment's secret lot. Teleporting is the only spell that doesn't require any reagents. The term High Witch might be a reference to the Roald Dahl book, The Witches, which features an evil Grand High Witch who is portrayed by Anjelica Huston in the 1990 movie. That movie scared the shit out of me as a
It
child.
traumatized me.
Me too. When
Yep.
she transforms and then she makes
Oh,
him turn into a rat, that
and then
movie scared
when
me.
she squashed that child, I was just like, why am I allowed to watch this? I'm 6.
And it was actively on the Disney Channel for me
Yep.
as a kid.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm just watching this on the Disney Channel at 2 p.m. on a Saturday."
Like, the worst part for me was when that kid turned into the rat or the mouse, and my
Yeah.
parents were, "Just let me watch it!" I was, like, crying like a 'cause I was 5 or 6. I was very little. I was crying my eyes out. My mom was like, "What the fuck?" And just kept pointing at the screen and sobbing, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't think you should watch this anymore."
I was traumatized by it by the fact that, like, it was very visual, like, things were very visual in that movie, like, I remember there was a scene where it was maybe at the beginning, and that's why she turned him into a rat or a mouse or whatever, where they all have their stuff taken off,
Yeah.
and that was a very visceral visual scene for me.
Which is probably also another, like, you know, like, embracing the ugly, evil witch
Yeah.
trope.
Well, I think that's what it was, like, we can finally be ourselves because we look like this, and then we have to hide ourselves when we go out in public.
I don't know. It was a super scary movie, and I never want to see it again. I adore Anjelica Huston, but my god, that movie was just terrifying.
And
Terrifying.
then they remade it with Hathaway? Yeah, Anne Hathaway.
They did?
Yeah, like, last year or the year before.
Oh my god, they did in 2020. Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, they stuck to the classic formula of traumatizing a whole new generation of little kids. Jesus Christ.
I didn't watch it because I was like, I already seen this.
No, I don't need the extra trauma, thank you. I'm still paying the therapy bills for the previous ones.
I don't need, to be scared of Anne Hathaway now."
I will never watch the Princess Diaries again. That's amazing. Anyway.
So now let's move on to the good Sims 3.
Yo. So that was my favorite.
I will let you go on about The Sims 3.
Oh, I can go on about The Sims 3. You hear me go on about The Sims 3 witches. So, basically, the witches came back in The Sims 3 Supernatural as one of 4 playable life states. So witches could obviously cast spells and charms and curses. They could better their own lives or the lives of others, or they could cause ruin and mischief because obviously, in this specific pack, both genders were called witches. In Sims 2, it was witch and warlock. In Sims 3, male, female, didn't matter, witch, as it should be. So if you wanted to be a witch, you could buy the bottled witch's brew from an alchemy shop or have someone make it, or you can make them in Create a Sim. But yeah, I mean, or something. You could, if you just want to start off as a witch, you could, but you could also drink the bottled witch's brew. So you also had a chance to be born a witch if one or both parents are a witch, but children couldn't use their powers until they became teenagers. However, the ability to make their toys disappear will let the player know whether the sim is or isn't one. But if you really want to check, just look at the sim's relationship panel, like of one of the parents or a sibling or whatever. If it had like I think a yellow border around it, they would be a witch. That was super fun. They didn't have any special features in their appearance like vampires would have, like the red eyes and the fangs. The werewolves would look like, you know, werewolves. The fairies had the wings, but a witch would just look normal. You didn't have any extraordinary features. I mean, you could wear the robes and the pointy hats if you really wanted to go, you know, walk down the street and scream, "Hey, I'm a witch!" But you didn't have to. Once you, so if the witch is born a witch and they become a teen, they become an adult, they automatically receive a wand, the most basic one. But I think once you become a witch, I think you actually had to buy one, but I'm not sure. I always made mine in chaos. The kids can't use magic until they become older. But toddlers will, like I said, occasionally make their toys disappear, which is fun. One of the basic abilities that you have that you can actually use to up your spellcrafting skills is the play with magic and conjure apple abilities. The conjure apple materializes an apple in your inventory, which is super convenient if you need a quick sneaky snack. Although I think if you I think there was a possibility to fuck it up and get like a poison apple. That was I think you just get sick if you ate it, but I'm pretty sure that there was a
The video that I watched before this, like, you can also conjure a poison apple, like, just period.
I think only if your sim was evil.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah,
was.
if your sim was evil.
And, they, like, went to sleep.
Yeah. But the quality of the apple, I think, depends on your magic skill. You can also duel with other witches. Your skill will determine the winner, and if you win, you'll get a positive moodlet. If you lose, you'll get a negative moodlet. It'll last for at least 3 hours. You can also get into a draw, which will get you a neutral moodlet, but it's also a way to practice your spellcasting skill. All spellcasting abilities require a wand, so it's not like The Sims 4 where you can do it wandless or with a wand. If you want to cast magic in The Sims 3, you need a wand. This was very much still like the Harry Potter era of witches, so you did need a wand. You could, however, fork over 20,000 lifetime happiness points to get the Magic Hands lifetime rewards, and then you didn't need a wand. You can use your hands to cast spells, and you can also cast them at a lower magic power cost without failing. So if you're very much into like playing a witch and using a lot of magic, that's definitely something to invest in. Witches always use a broom as their default long distance mode of transportation. So instead of like pulling a bike or a car out of their pocket, they would break out their trusty broom, even if they don't have one in their inventory. Just like with a bike, there's a junior and a senior model. For the children, it's the Zoom Sweeper Junior Magic Broom, and the older Sims will use the Zoom Sweeper Classic. But there's also, like, I think there's a broom called the Pegasus, which I think is like a nod to the Nimbus from Harry Potter. But yeah, those were super fun. There's also a broom riding arena where you can do like trick flying, which was super fun. It kind of looked like a Quidditch pitch. So if you wanted to pretend you were playing Quidditch, you could. Yeah, that was super cool. Like I said, if your parents are witch, there's a chance the offspring will be witch. I think there's a 50% chance per parent, and if both parents are witches, offspring will 100% be a witch. A clone of a witch sim will also be a witch. So there's that. But unlike all the other life states, just like there aren't any like external extra features, they also don't have an extended lifespan. Like werewolves, fairies, and vampires all live longer than a general sim, but witches don't. I need to catch my breath because my bronchitis is
You're
still in
fine.
full swing.
So, you can't, be Sabrina the Teenage Witch because I believe like, the old Sabrina, not the new weird one, where she was, like, I think half witch, and then, like, the witches apparently maybe it was the warlocks that lived, like, no, it was the witches because her aunts were, like, really old and they were from the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
So, you're having your Harry Potter even, they were, like, centuries old, right?
I mean, no, I think Dumbledore was just one of those exceptions. They didn't have like naturally long lifespans. But what you could do is like really get into alchemy and then get craft like the elixir of youth and then be young forever.
So this is a lot taking from, like, the Harry Potter Age of Witches, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
There were also some Twilight, like nods to Twilight with like the vampire and werewolves and just fucking sparkly vampires.
Hell yeah.
No. Um, but the witches also had a magic power meter, which depleted every time they used their magic, and their magic power would regenerate over time, or you could use an elixir, I think it was called Essence of Magic, to replenish it instantly. Well, it was basically a mana potion. Just like pop a mana potion and you're good to go. During the full moon, witches would spend 50% less magic power and cast at a 25% more successful spell rate. So they also did have like most supernaturals, they had a connection to the moon. If the magic power meter was reduced to 50%, they would gain a neutral moodlet, which was magic power waning. And if it's reduced to 25, the witch would gain the magic power critical moodlet, which was a negative moodlet. And when it was completely depleted, They would get the magic power depleted in negative moodlet, which would prevent the magic power from regenerating for 6 hours unless you take an elixir. So one of the things you definitely want to do is combine your witch sim with the alchemy profession or skill, basically, and make sure you always have some elixirs available. They also have like several passive abilities, like bonuses. They have unique social interactions. They can brag about their broom riding and enthuse about magic. They frequently have the playing with magic wish. So if you want some quick lifetime happiness points, do that. They have a boost to learning the alchemy skill if you're a witch. So if you want to, so that's basically another encouragement to combine alchemy and witch sims because they learn it faster. According to the game tips, witches get a special discount when purchasing items from the consignment register, so like ingredients. If they own a cat or a minor pet, like a bird or a snake, it'll give them the animal familiar moodlet, which will increase the skill gain rate towards the spellcast hidden skill, because spellcasting is a hidden skill. And it would lower their magic power depletion. So it's always good when having your pet or your cat or your minor pet with you. They're very good at defending themselves from tricks that are played on them by other cults. So, like, when a fairy performs a fairy trick on a witch, there's a good chance it'll backfire on the fairy instead of the witch, which is fun. The fairy will then receive a negative moodlet depending on the trick pulled.
I
So,
miss fairies.
don't mess with witches, bitches. Um, when you're at level 5 of the spellcasting skill, the witches will begin performing more advanced animations when using magic, which is nice. And there's basically always like a yellow magic trail emanating from their wand, and once they're at a higher level, it'll become magenta with blue particles, which is very pretty. They cannot clone themselves with a clone voucher lifetime reward. There's that. So there's a whole bunch of spells that witches can cast, and they're categorized under charms, spells, and curses. Magic power is required to cast all of these, and each spell has their own like magic usage. They also have a chance to fail, which can backfire on the caster. You can decrease the chance of it backfiring by using higher quality wands or higher spell casting skills. Like your wands would have different aspects to it. Like either it would use more magic power but would be less likely to fail, or it'd be a medium chance at failing but use less magic power, etc., etc. It was like you kind of had to pick what was more important for you, or either make up for the drawbacks of your wand with like lifetime rewards or something, which was fun. You could sort of, it really made you have to think about which wand you were going to get and what you were going to prioritize. Did you always want your spell to succeed? Well, then you wouldn't be able to cast as many spells because you would use more magic power, etc. Or if you wanted to be really stingy with your magic power, you could do that, but you had a higher chance of your spells failing. So you really had to you had to look at the stats, which was cool.
They were pretty too, like, some of them were really pretty, like the blue
Yeah.
one.
You had like a marble one, you had an old wooden one, you had like a gold one. They were really nice. And you could still you could customize them, which cuz the color wheel that we all know and
Oh,
love.
yeah.
Yeah, create a style. We miss that. Okay, so there's charms, right? So there are a total of 20 spells, and some of these are charms. And charms are basically those are spells that will benefit the target. It was also possible that witches could autonomously cast them on themselves. You had the good luck charm, you had the love charm, you had hunger thirst charm, a bladder charm, hygiene charm, and sunlight charm. The sunlight charm would combat negative moodlets and also cure zombies.
Zombies suck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would also give you like immunity to the pestilence curse and protection from vampires. If you cast it on a werewolf in their werewolf form, it will revert them to human form. And if you cast it on vampires, they would get in the moodlet too much sun. So
Oh,
there's
and
that.
they died, didn't they?
I don't think they died. No, but you would have to get them out of the sun and into their coffin, I think, because it would basically have the same effect, I think, as leaving them out in the sun for too long.
They didn't die, they were the ones that didn't die from too much sun because they were based off of Twilight, right?
No, they could still die from too much sun, but there was a potion that you could make that was basically a vampire sunscreen, vampiric sunscreen, and it would make them sparkle.
Uh
And the first thing I did when I found it was install a mod that made the sparkles go away. So that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, next there's curses. There was a toadification curse, a haunting curse, a hunger and thirst curse, a bladder curse, a hygiene curse, and then that pestilence curse. It would basically make you sick, and if it wasn't cured within 24 hours, it would cause the pestilence plague moodlet, which was minus 30 moodlet, and it would last for 2 days. And within the latter half of the pestilence plague moodlet, they would have regular coughing fits and basically just be horribly, horribly, horribly sick.
I don't like that.
No. So once either of the moodlets are cured, either with a sunlight charm, a cure, or a potent cure elixir, they would get the immunity moodlet, which would make them immune to the pestilence curse for 2 days. But yeah, if you want to spread the plague around the world, you could spread plague.
I remember the toads because, like, that unfortunately happened to me too often, and you just have, like, a toad guy with a toad head just walking around your town. It was
Yeah,
gross.
yeah, I remember that. There's also the spells. One of them is Bewitching Rain, which you cast on the Weather Stone, and the Weather Stone is a stone that would appear around the world and would require the Sims 3 seasons. And it would basically cause other Sims to go crazy and do the rain dance. And there were the other life states could interact with this stone and cause different effects around the world, which was super fun. You could, conjure apple. Evil witches could conjure poison apple. There's a conversion ritual, fire blast, ice blast, magical upgrade, which I used a lot. It would upgrade an object. It doesn't count towards the handiness skill. However, if you have a high spellcasting skill, it would upgrade things faster. I always used them on my sprinklers, which was fun. There's the restoration ritual. And basically, that cleans up the lot it's cast on, but it will not put toys away or make beds. It also repairs broken objects and disarms pranks, but only if they're set up by children and teenagers. If you use the spell while there are leftovers in any refrigerator, it will cause them to spoil. So keep that in mind. If drinks from the mixology skill are present, even if they haven't gone bad, those will be cleaned up too. And if the spell cleans a toilet, there is a chance of it breaking. I don't know why.
That's
It just
sad.
does. Yeah. And then the last one was the reanimation ritual, which will bring back a target sim as a zombie, but it doesn't work on children's graves.
Yeah, we don't need zombie children.
No, absolutely not. Like little ghost children already scare the shit out of me. I definitely don't need them as the undead.
Oh, I didn't know kids could be ghosts. I forgot about that.
No, I mean in general in like horror tropes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't need any of that, thank you. That's a big nope from me. Okay, so trivia. There's apparently a reference to the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think that's the film with Nicolas Cage. When you raise your skill to level 9, I haven't seen the film, so I
Is
don't.
that not the one from the Fantasia? Didn't they, like, Nicolas Cage, like, make a live action version of that?
I don't know. I know there's a Nicolas Cage movie, and at one point they're in Chinatown. I don't. My mom watched it once. I don't remember much of it, but I haven't seen it. There are not a lot of Nick Cage movies that I actually like. I like National Treasure, and that's about it. I saw City of Angels once, and that kind of ruined it for me. So there's that. So I don't know what the reference is because I've never seen the film. Witches can cause untimely deaths to other Sims, though not directly. If the witch casts a fireball blast spell, the target sim will either be singed or be on fire. And we all know what happens if you don't take care of that shit real quick. Alternatively, they can cast it onto the floor of a household as many times as their magic power allows. So you could basically set the whole gaff on fire. And yeah, again, we all know what happens then. Sims with the evil trait actually, get a giggle out of it, which is kind of rude. And Sims will still get money from fire loss, even though nothing may be lost in the fire that a Sim casts. So if you go to someone else's house set their shit on fire, you can claim the insurance money.
Hell yeah.
So do with that what you will. Which can cause death using the hunger or thirst curse for vampires, thirst in this case. So the hunger or thirst bar will then decay and can cause death. So if you bring it down too much, they could die. Also, there seems to be, like I said, the glitch related to the fire blast, where the indemnity granted by the insurance after a fire could reach ridiculously high amounts, going as far as 300,000, if said fire was a result of the spell, even if no objects were destroyed. So you could basically exploit this and make like a ridiculous amount of money. The witches in The Sims 3 are the only version of witches that cannot teleport in the Sims series. If their spellcasting skill is high, witches can use their magic to light up and extinguish the fireplace. They can also use their magic to extinguish fires, which is super convenient if you want to, set shit on fire, claim the insurance money, and then put it out.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. There was also, before Supernatural was even announced, there was the ability to cast spells if you wanted to go to the Sims store and buy Lady Raven Dancer Goth's Book of Spells for 500 Sim points. The book itself in game costs 72,000 simoleons. And if you had another 600 Sim points to dole out, you could also buy Lord Vladimir's Magic Cauldron. They could also be bought together in a set, either the More Magic set or in the compilation of January 2012. Oh, I'm old. Okay.
I don't remember a compilation, but
Yeah, they used to bring compilation packs out for like specific months. Yeah, you could just basically buy the entirety of items that were released that month for like less sim points than it would cost you to buy everything separately. They did that, but like much, much later.
well, yeah, 2012, so it was on its way out at that point.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think there was Supernatural, and after Supernatural, there was Island Paradise, and then Into the Future. So it was basically, yeah, there was two more packs after that one. So yeah, I think it was like nearing its end. But that was the best witches in the Sims franchise, which was The Sims 3. And why? Because there was an entire fucking expansion dedicated purely to them and the other life states. So
Yep.
here's what you can do if you focus on something.
And here's what happens if you don't focus on anything and you just kind of throw shit in to make money, which is the Sims 4 spellcasters. Well, it's making magic. Have we done a whole making magic episode or?
I have.
Okay. So I'm going to go quickly through Realm of Magic. Our social bunny number 11, we went into a little bit more depth. That's going to be like, it's going to be after episode 42. It's called Witches, Bitches. Okay. Spellcasters are a life state. They are from Glimmerbrook. You go, so you can force your sim to be a spellcaster and cast, or you talk to one of the spellcasters. You've got Elphaba.
Simeon Silver Sweater.
Yeah. What's the hot one? Morgan Ember. That's the hot one. I love them.
Yep.
And you talk to one of them, and then you can like start learning from there.
Yeah, you have to go find motes of magic first, which is basically just go around, click on them, pick them up.
Oh, I forgot about that. So you have spells and you concoct potions. The child can be a spellcaster as long as one of their parents is a spellcaster. And like there's a 50-50 chance that your kid won't be a spellcaster if it's like one of them is and one of them isn't. The children though, they will not start to manifest their abilities until their teen years. So the rite of ascension, that's when you talk to the spellcaster and the spellcaster turns you into a spellcaster also.
Yeah.
Or you can go back and you can have them turn you into a regular person again.
Yeah, the Rite of Annulment, I think it's called.
Dissolution. Dissolution.
Dissolution.
And then there's Sims that are created or turned into spellcasters start off with no bloodline trait, but their kids are given a weak bloodline. And then if you keep passing it down your bloodline, you'll end up with an ancient bloodline. And like it'll go from like weak to strong and then to ancient. And spellcasters have normal needs just like any other sim, but they have like a globe on theirs where it has like how much magic it is. If you've played werewolves, you know what it looks like. There's like the orb, and like if the orb breaks, then I think that's when it's like they fuck up all their spells, right? That's what happens when it breaks.
You get cursed, I think.
Yeah. So then like your curses, like all your spells will be cursed, they'll backfire, and we have a few curses. We have a curse of awkward embraces, which is every hug that I ever give to people because I don't like hugs. The curse will randomly force a sim to awkwardly hug a random sim, which cannot be canceled. However, sims will usually just accept it. You have infectious laughter where like they'll just laugh all the time and it will either be forced to stop or will continue and laugh after finishing the reaction. Repulsiveness, your social interactions start to fail. Scrambled spells, that's always going to cause you to have negative spells are always going to fail and have a negative reaction. Curse of incleansable stench means even when you shower, you still smell. Curse of an uncontrollable charge is your magical charge bar is going to go all over the place no matter what. The curse of unwarranted hostility. The Sims will be targeted for insults or fights with other random Sims. The curse of the duelist. Nearby spellcasters will provoke your Sim into duels, which will be much harder to win by your Sim, and rewards will be of low quality. Also, you can duel with the spellcasters. When you go to, they have like a knockoff Hogwarts, basically,
Yeah.
and you have, like, your store where you buy your wands and stuff, and then you have
I think they based it off of Diagon Alley because like some of the stuff is
yeah.
like crooked and stuff. But the fact that it's just a storefront and you can't go inside kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, like the wedding thing, like, you is it a rabbit hole like the wedding, or you just, like, go up there and buy it, like, at the Salvadorada?
Well, yeah, the with the market stalls and stuff.
Yeah. And then there's the Curse of the Night Wraith, where you have a night wraith just follow you around at night, and it's really creepy.
I've never had that one before, and I don't care to find out.
I haven't had it, but, Whiny Brit did, like, "Can you woohoo the night wraith?" And the answer is no, you cannot. I'm pretty sure.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. The fact that there are people whose minds this question has crossed kind of worries me a little bit. But I mean, fair enough.
She's tried to woohoo all of she does challenges where she, like, tries to woohoo everything. Hi,
Hi,
Dorian.
Dorian.
Yeah.
You little spooky spook. You're my little night wraith, huh? Because you'll wake me up at 4 a.m. scratching at the closet door for no apparent reason.
Maybe he sees the night wraith, and he's trying to protect you.
It's in the closet, Mama. I caught it. Is that it? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Hmm?
He's your familiar.
You sure is. Hi, buddy.
There are 4 types of magics that spellcasters can learn. It's practical, mischief, untamed, and alchemy. They're not mutually exclusive, so you can learn more than one style at once. You can learn up to 24 spells and 15 potions, which can be logged in a spellbook. Your items, you have spellbooks, magic brooms, and wands, which why can you buy a magic broom, but we can't use a broom to clean the house?
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm so mad. Still so mad.
Oh, and then in The Sims 3, you could use a
They even have a damn mop. They have a mop. Don't understand.
you could ride on a vacuum like,
Like in Hocus Pocus.
yeah, well, Sabrina also,
Oh,
like,
okay.
the old show, she had at one point, there was a vacuum, but I'm sure that they got that off of Hocus Pocus too. And then we've got leveling, there's levels Level 1 rank is Apprentice, rank 2 Neophyte, rank 3 Acolyte, rank 4 Adept, rank 5 Master, rank 6 Virtuoso, and you'll get experience by being mentored, practicing magic, reading spell or potion tomes, or having summoned a familiar. And then your familiars, I think you've got like a I know you can have cats.
Yeah, if you have a cat or a dog, you can turn them into your familiar. But otherwise, you have to buy those orbs, and there's like a 6M owl, there's a raven, there's a bunny of some kind. There's
And that's really cute, but, like, the skull looks kinda cheesy.
I don't know. I think he's kind of cute.
It reminds me do you know the band The Mystery Skulls or something?
No,
It reminds me of that. If anyone else might know the reference, I only know one song of theirs. I don't wanna go into too much detail because we did a whole episode on this, but
they are there. They do
yeah,
things.
go listen to our old episodes. Bring back some good listening days.
Yeah,
And then there's, like I said, you can duel. There's a friendly duel, a heated duel. You can duel for artifacts, like, you won't lose your wand or broom or familiars or anything, but yeah. And then you can duel for knowledge, where you can learn a spell that your opponent knows, and you can duel for ingredients, where they give you an ingredient. And the magic realm, like we said before, that was my bad. I don't know Harry Potter lore very well, so I'm like, Hogwarts is everything. I guess that's like Diagon Alley, like where you can
yep,
buy your all your stuff.
yep.
And there's only one piece of trivia for this, and that is that if you have paranormal stuff, spellcasters have a natural talent in learning the medium skill faster.
That's literally it. That's the only perk.
Yeah. So once again, Sims 4 not linking packs together that they could have very well linked together.
Yeah, if they can get an extra buck out of it, I suppose it's better that way.
Yeah, but they're gonna tell you that it is because they want things to be able to be played separately and you don't lose any game experience,
4 words. My first pet stuff.
which was the literal demon seed of okay, now that I think about it, I can't say which is worse for me because I hate Star Wars. But as a general consensus, I don't know which is worse, Batu or my first stuff pack.
I would still say my first pets because at least Batu can be played on its own. And all you need is the base game. Whereas if you want to play the entirety of my first pet stuff, you need cats and dogs only. Otherwise, you only just get half a pack. So that's bullshit. I'm
That's
sorry. That's
true.
that's literally the only reason I will never buy that pack. Don't even gift it to me. I won't install it. So
We will just burn it to the ground. But it is one, so I have to get going and we're gonna spit out our outro real quick. We are Plum Bobcast on Instagram and Twitter, Plum Bob Podcast on Reddit, under the Plum Bob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr, website plumbobcast.com. You can contact us there or you can email us at undertheplumbbobpodcast@gmail.com. We have merch. We're gonna have a sale soon, probably not too long after this comes out because we're gonna be celebrating our birthday a few days after this comes out.
happy birthday to us.
Our 4th birthday, come celebrate with us. We'll be putting social stuff out and we'll have a merch sale. You can go to bit.ly/plumbobmerch. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, Pandora. Um, we just got another one, Amazon podcast. We're on there now. Thanks to our wonderful writing and research team for that. It was me.
Yep. She did it all.
Thank you, Sims Wiki, because that's where I got it anyway. And thank you guys for listening, and we love you, and we love the game as much as you do, so we appreciate you guys being here. And now we're going back to the real world, and if you're playing while listening, save your game.
Yes, save your game.
It's a madhouse out there right now.
Yep. And drink water.
And wash your hands and get vaccinated.
Oh, I'm getting vaccinated 27th, getting my 4th shot. You
Alright.
got some.
We're going out, and you guys have a lovely day.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Bye.